Hello, everyone. And today I've got a very special person on. I consider him YouTube royalty in the scuba diving world, or the scuba tubing world, which my guest today just told me a while back sounds like an underwater potato. So that's the sort of guy he is. He says it as he feels it. He's right more often than he's wrong. So I've got James Blackman from Divers Ready. How I got him to agree to this, I don't know. I must be one of the luckiest scuba tubers out there. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to bring James right in now.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good man, good man. You know, scuba tubing royalty on my show. The little guy in Dubai.
That's a big shout. That's a huge introduction. I don't know if I'm going to live up to that, but we'll try.
Well, I've followed your channel virtually since day one, you know, and it's just gone crazy. And I think that's a lot to do with you, because your knowledge and the way you put things out there, you say it as it seems, and it makes sense. And you are very popular, because I don't think I've ever had 12 viewers in like the first couple of minutes come onto the live stream. So some people have been waiting. So it's fantastic having you here today. It really is. I mean, it's really, I didn't think you'd agree, because you're one of the big boys, right?
Oh, please, come on. We've been talking about doing something together for a long time. So this is actually overdue.
Because I don't know if he does interviews. I don't know what's it. And I sent that email to you. I hope he agrees.
Absolutely, I'm an open book.
You must have a hectic schedule, right? I mean, with Miami Technical Diving and the channel. Now, I remember a long time ago, I put a comment because you screwed up at one. And I said, you're supposed to be a professional. And you put something, look, I don't make money off YouTube. I do this part-time. Shut up. Put me in my right place. And now look at you.
Yeah, I still don't do this as a professional. It barely covers the electric bill for the dive locker. My bread and butter was and always will be teaching, instructing. So it's still very much, I consider it a hobby. I also consider it the marketing effort for my company to attract students to come and train with me. But yeah, everything is entirely self-taught. So from my point of view, when it comes to the filming and the editing, I struggle in those aspects. I'm still learning, and it's still very much, I treat it as sort of the hobby or the side project to the main event, which is teaching. But yeah, the calendar's pretty full. Keeps me out of trouble.
Good. Now, I'm just going to give you a plug to my 1,100 viewers. Let's get it out there, how big I am. But some of my subscribers haven't heard of you, right? So, Divers Ready. There's going to be a link in the description below. Hit the subscribe button. You're not going to regret it. The stuff James puts out is amazing. So, my viewers, a lot in the Philippines, a lot in the Middle East, quite a few in England. Hit James's button, because YouTube may not be pushing his channel to you like mine's not being pushed to America. So, just tell your diving buddies. I'm sure Andy UK Diver will come on later if he's not working. So yeah, that's the plug. Subscribe.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Brian.
It will make you a better diver. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Hold on a second. Matthias Lebo, what are you doing?
Hello, buddy. How you doing? Long time no see.
What are you doing here?
Well, I couldn't miss the opportunity to see you two guys together and just come into the discussion and see what's happening here in the ScubaTuber community.
Yeah, so
Matthias is on vacation mode already. You can tell. You can tell that big old grin. He's got one foot in Croatia already.
Pretty much. I can't wait to sit in the car and drive off there tomorrow, but I couldn't miss this live stream today. So happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
All right, so everyone, Matthias has just popped in to say hello to James. We thought we'd surprise him with that one. I've interviewed Matthias. It's on the channel. Now, if you want to know about underwater videography, Matthias Lebo, check out his site. It's in the description below. Oh, no. What the hell is going on here?
You're getting hijacked. You're getting hijacked. We're taking over.
Oh no, that's it. I'm going to go walk the dog. I'm just going to go walk the dog, I think.
What's up, Justin?
Well, hello.
Hello to you.
How's it going? James, Matthias, Brian, Wolf.
Yeah,
Not
he
too
walks outside, sort of pining. So that's it. This is my core scuba tubing guys. You know, Justin, I was the first scuba tuber I interviewed. Critter Hunter, another great. If you're into little stuff, macro stuff, another great site. Again, in the links below. So you've got the big boys here. You've got Justin to know about critters for underwater photography. You've got Matthias, and if you want to be a better diver, who do you go to? Divers Ready. So we thought we'd just invite you, James. I'm going to have to kick him off now, because particularly Critter Hunter, because you'll see he'll start to take over the show later.
Yeah.
How are you, Justin? Oh, he's got
You
a
fall asleep.
terrible Wi-Fi connection in the Philippines. It looks like
No.
he's asleep.
He's gone to sleep.
He's got to sleep. All right, Critter Hunter. Stay tuned. I'm looking
It
forward
must
to
be
the comments.
late in the Philippines.
Let's get it out. He'll be back on later. Whoops. Matthias, I'm going to take you out because, you know,
No worries
James
at all.
is the star of the show here, right?
I'll be watching the show, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this, guys.
All right. All right.
Good to see you again, buddy. Long time.
I think you two were talking today, weren't you?
We had a meeting this morning at like 6 a.m. Miami time to plan out the second half of the year for our Across the Ocean series, which is the show we co-host that we film like this. And, you know, we kind of come to the end of a natural series of videos we were making. So we were talking about what the follow-up is to that. But yeah.
All right, great. So yeah, in fact, I had a Zoom with Matthias today because, you know, I've bought some lights from Orca Torch. They gave me a nice discount, which I appreciated. And I've just been doing you know, like you, I don't like doing unboxing videos. I think they're a waste of time, right?
Yeah.
Critter Hunter's back. Let's just have a chat with him in case you didn't hear what we said. We'll finish this first. Yeah, I think they're a waste of time. So yeah, do unboxing at the start, but then give the viewer something substantial to learn about, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to have value, and I don't get a lot of value out of unboxing something, but you know, it's obviously a thing. People watch them. There's whole channels. Unbox Therapy. I mean, how huge is that? Like, it's such a big channel of people just unboxing products. I mean, it's insane, but I guess there's an appeal to some people there. I've never, you know, particularly seen the attraction myself, but it is a thing that people want to see things unboxed. But I'd rather take it out, get it wet, and tell you what it's actually like.
I'm the same. Let's get Critter Hunter back in because we lost him a bit there. Hey, Justin.
There he is.
Well,
it looked like you were
I got the
asleep.
legendary diving in Philippines and the legendary Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we've been lucky when we've done live streams, Justin. It's been lucky.
Well, we got typhoons right now, so I've been ruining a lot of interviews lately.
Oh.
So I'm not gonna stay long. I was just gonna. I don't know where that Swiss guy went, but I was just gonna,
He's still there.
oh, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, I just got kicked out. You know, that's what happens to Swiss people. They just get left out. We're not part of anything really in this world.
Yeah, because that's the price you pay for having good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, just stay neutral.
Just unplugged it. He said, "I'll get back into that show. They'll think my Wi-Fi's rubbish today. But rather bring me back in." Smart.
Well, I'm gonna get this out before I get kicked off again. But we should I think we need to make a ScubaTuber retreat here in the Philippines next year when we're open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Right.
I've already been.
I think this is the panel for Deemer as well, by the way.
Yeah, I'm full of knowledge.
So
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, but you got to mind, Justin. You always make us laugh, and you always bring us down to some of those comments. Right.
Yep.
Hey,
I'm
sorry,
working
there's
with-
one question. I've got
Yeah,
one
go on,
question for Critter Hunter? What's that thingy stuff in the background there? Are you?
I'm at a strip club. I'm at a strip club. That's the only way you can get Wi-Fi.
That's what I figured.
Nice.
I think we all guessed that.
Do you want to turn the camera around a little bit?
No. You have to pay for that. That's extra.
All right.
All right, guys. It's already going downhill. Right, get lost, both of you. Yeah. I've had enough. The Swiss guy goes.
Not anyone on this show, Brian.
Anyway, that was a bit of fun. Anyway, what time is it in Miami?
It is 10 a.m.
10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yes, sir. There you go.
I really appreciate you suggesting those times that you'd actually gone and looked at the times in Dubai, so I could be. Because last week I was up at 10 p.m. Because we're both English, how's the weather?
Hot and humid.
Just like here now. It was 47 degrees C yesterday. And last night the humidity came in for the first time. And I was walking Wolf. Even he felt horrible. Why are you doing this to me? I know I'm a Belgian Malinois and I know I'm supposed to run around, but not in this weather.
Yeah. I walked my hounds this morning in glorious sunshine and driving rain at the same time. Right. So you need sunglasses and an umbrella.
Oh, we haven't got the rain. We haven't got the rain.
So, right. How very British of us to be talking about the weather.
Right. And, we already know you from England because we're both from England. Tell by our accents. But whereabouts are you from originally in the UK?
I was born in East Grinstead, Sussex, and grew up in Cornwall.
Right.
So did all my schooling in Cornwall.
So do you consider yourself a Cornishman?
Well, I do. People who are born in Cornwall wouldn't consider me a Cornishman because they're very, very funny like that. But I don't remember Sussex at all. I left when I was a babe in arms, so I don't have any memory of being there. It just says it on my birth certificate. But yeah, I grew up and did all my schooling in Cornwall and had a very typical childhood of riding bikes to the beach and being unsupervised and playing outside until the street lights came on and all that good stuff. So it was a very very joyous, fun, safe childhood, and it was a great place to grow up. But sadly, then when you become an adult, there's not a great deal of jobs down there. There's not a lot of things to do, so you tend to sort of drift away. Certainly, most of my school friends have done that. So, but yeah, great place to grow up, great place to be a kid. And my parents moved there to raise a family. I was the firstborn. They moved when I was a toddler, and then my brothers were born down that way. And just basically had that great childhood growing up. So it's fantastic.
Right, we've been having fun with Matthias and Critter Hunter, and we've got 17 people on, which is pretty good.
Fantastic.
We've had 15 comments. I normally put them straight up, so we'll just go handle some of those now, some later.
There you go.
There we go. Napreet, thanks for coming on. I've seen you before.
That's my buddy Menno.
Wow, that is an old geezer there in Miami. He must be one of your buddies, man.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Way back.
It's not your birthday today, is it?
No, last Saturday.
All right. I saw that wasn't your wife's.
No, that was my birthday.
Because I think I said congratulations on Facebook to your missus.
Well, she deserves congratulations for putting up with me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So,
Bunty Sandhu, hello, sir. Bunty, great man.
Hey, nice.
Niraj, these are all some of my Dubai subscribers.
Nice, awesome.
James's channel is Divers Ready. Link in the description below, guys. Please subscribe. Get him well known in the Middle East. Finding he uses attractive models too. Well, I'll find out about that either in November or February next year, right?
I do. I use attractive models and Menno.
And here's finding him. What's up, Matthias?
There you go.
Let's bring Matthias in. So someone's
now Menno's on it too.
Caught him with his sound off.
This is actually really, really iffy, because I'm been I got to be careful what I do while I watch, right?
Yeah,
mouthful of food or something. Yeah,
exactly.
So finding Nemo's asking you what's up, so you can give him.
Hi, Menno. How are you, mate? Good to hear from you. How's Amsterdam? He's still in Amsterdam, is he?
I don't know.
Yes.
You'll put a comment up, I guess, right? All right. Ravi Singh, another Dubai-based guy.
Hey, Ravi.
Finding him out. It's getting busy in here. Oh, here's my boat captain, Peter Wu. I've got to teach him to dive this year.
There you go.
Yeah. Ravi. Jasbir Singh, he's in. He was on last week. Pel Christian. Hey, Pel. Wow. You're a looker. It's all right. I know her and her husband are good friends. Gina's in the room. Right. We'll get going with some more questions and then we'll get some more comments up.
Sure thing.
Right. What motivated you to learn to dive? I've kind of got a clue now because you were born and raised in one of the best parts of England to be close to the ocean, as you guys would say, or the sea, as I would call it. So, but you know, what triggered the switch? You know, what's that? Right, I'm going to learn to dive.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it was a very coastal childhood. So we grew up surfing and learned to swim in the ocean, and we had rowing boats and, you know, ocean kayaks. We did gig rowing. So it was always a natural evolution. There was never any doubt that I was going to learn to dive at some point in my life. And I probably left it later than I could have. I actually didn't learn to dive until I left Cornwall for college and actually learned through my local BSAC club when I went away to college. But actually, you know, the seed was planted incredibly early, because if you think back, like my earliest memory as a child, which is, you know, a very hazy sort of snapshot, was of me with water wings on in the shallow end of a swimming pool, and all these guys coming through in, you know, black, in dry suits with fins, carrying fins with tanks on their back, that were going to use the deep end of the pool for training. And I have this very vague memory of exactly that, me with water wings on in the shallow end of the pool, looking at scuba divers. I didn't even know what scuba diving was then, obviously, but that is like one of my earliest memories. And I guess that seed was just planted at a very impressionable age, and it, you know, eventually became my career. So it kind of happened very naturally.
Well, so you're an ex-BSAC diver? Or
I am, yes.
You're always a BSAC diver anyway, aren't you? Not ex at all. You're always a BSA. You know,
I guess so, yes.
Yeah, like me. So that's why I like you so much, and that's why you're good at the content.
There you go.
Emma H89, awesome to hear you're from the South West too. So
hey, Emma.
Very much. Wi-Fi. Added all the Dubai guys and ladies. Savita is coming in, and David Street. Now, David Street is the inventor of the Proteus rebreather, which started life as a side mount unit because he was tired of not having he wanted a rebreather bailout, not open circuit. And then he had to go into mainstream rebreathers to get EU certification for his rebreathers.
Makes sense.
I guess he'll be putting some comments up later. So you learnt with your local BSAC club. How old were you?
I would have been 17, I think, when I did my first course.
So
you know, I was probably like 16 when I started and 18 when I finished. You know how BSAC works.
Yeah, snorkel diver, 10 snorkel dives. Remember? Begin
slow and cautious.
Yeah, what was it? The F test it was called, or something like G test. Yeah, I think it was called the F test, the fail test. You know, if you couldn't dive down and put all your kit on, you couldn't pass, right?
Correct. Yeah, I remember that.
And then we were called third class divers.
Yeah.
Good,
I think I was called club diver when I was going through it. That was the first level. Yeah. And then I did club diver, and then I did sport diver, and then I was a sport diver forever. I mean, I was a sport diver for like 10 years before I did my dive master, and then I switched to PADI.
So you didn't decide from the get go that you're going to be a dive master or an instructor. It sounds like. Yeah.
I always had the vision to do it. I just didn't get around to it. Other things got in the way. I worked in other sports. I worked at sea for a long time. And it just, you know, was something that I would dive on vacation. I was a very active diver, but I didn't go pro until my mid-20s.
What was the driver behind that? Yeah, what sort of said, right, no, I've got to
opportunity. Yeah, opportunity. I got off a ship I was working on in Indonesia. I was planning to do a diving vacation and just kind of hit a few islands. I ended up on the Gili Islands between Bali and Lombok, Gili T specifically. And there was a brand new dive shop. You know, the paint was still wet on the walls. That had opened up with a young and sort of really enthusiastic team. And I said, hey, can I come and do a bunch of diving with you guys? And they were like, well, if you're going to do a bunch of diving, why don't you do your dive master? And they, you know, I was like, well, yeah, I've always wanted to do that. Might as well do it. So, you know, it was a good way to do, at the time, it was a good way to do a hell of a lot of diving for not very much money. You know, I had basically unlimited diving. Anytime the boat was going out, I could just jump on it. And so that was kind of how I bumbled my way into it. But I still, you know, had a day job to go back to. But yeah, then I did my dive master, and then a few years later did my my instructors.
Right. Okay. Well, that leads into my next question. Can you just give a brief bio? Because we've got some bits there. You know, you worked on ships, you were at the BSAC trained, but just, you know, from when you did your instructors up to about now, you know, what was that journey to founding Miami Technical Diving? Yeah.
So I did my instructor course in Honduras with the legendary Andy Phillips. Rest in peace. I did my, you know, sort of 6 weeks there or something like that, which is actually where I met Menno, who's on the chat today. He was doing his DM at the same time I did my instructor course. And then, you know, I kept working the day job. I was still working at ships for a few more years. And the nice thing about that is you do kind of like, you know, 4 months on board, working 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. And then you get 2 months off. So in the 2 months off, I would just go backpack somewhere and freelance instruct or lead dives or whatever. And I got to see a lot of diving in lots of different parts of the world. And that was, you know, phenomenal. And then when it was kind of time to end my career at sea and get off of ships and kind of find whatever the semblance of a normal life is, I took the job as a general manager of a dive center in the Caribbean for a husband and wife couple, and I ran that for 3 years. And that's where I met my wife, which brought us back to the States, and then we landed in Miami. My wife's from New York. We spent a year living in Dallas, which diving there is less than optimal, shall we say. So when we decided to, you know, go full time and set up our own instruction brand, Miami as a city seemed to be the obvious choice because we've got year-round diving, just fantastic diving all year. So that was pretty much the decision to come to Miami. We chose first to focus on technical diving because it's more niche, and we did really well here locally. But now we teach the full gambit of courses from open water to advanced trimix.
All right, so you've already answered my next question about why Miami and what were the drivers, because you can dive all year round. A few more comments. So, sorry, Mino, I kept calling you Finding Nemo. I've got the wrong glasses on today. Signs of age, right? He's locked down. He's missing his diving. Emma H. Where did you learn today to learn to dive, James?
Yeah, SUSAC, BSAC, Southampton University Sub-Aqua Club.
Oh, right, okay.
There you go.
So it wasn't in Cornwall then?
No. My first open water dives were actually in Plymouth, though. We went down the coast. You know, we did Chesil Beach, and we did in Dorset, and then we did Fort Bovey Sand.
Yeah, my regular old haunts, you know.
Yeah, I think my first open water dive, if I remember rightly, and it was a long time ago, but I think my first open water dive was Fort Bovey Sand, Plymouth.
Right, yeah. Fond memories of that. Mino's on again. One for Brian. How's the diving? The diving's pretty good. You know, I've got quite a few videos of Dubai and Fujairah diving. One of the reasons I started the channel is we couldn't get up to North Oman, where we go every single month. We rent our own dhow. So I started the channel, and what am I going to put content? Well, let me get diving on Dubai side and the UAE's east coast and put some videos up from there. So yeah, for experienced divers, we have very good diving. It's not the diving tourism destination in the world, but if you're here on holiday for other reasons or on business, it is a good place to come and have a couple of dives. But to come solely for a diving holiday, maybe not your best choice. Maldives, that's where I go.
That's fair.
Let's have a look. Credanta, my question for James. When are you going to answer?
When are you going to answer my message? What message?
That's
He didn't
it.
message me.
Yeah, right. So you're number 155 in the queue, Critter Hunter. You'll get to you next century. James, when did you make the move into tech diving?
Good question. When I was working for that husband and wife couple operation in the Caribbean, the husband of that couple was a tech instructor trainer, and he did all the tech teaching there. So he didn't have any tech instructors on staff, but then he started to get really busy doing compressor maintenance, and he was traveling to other Caribbean islands, and he wanted to keep the tech going. And it wasn't, I'll tell you this, I had to get talked into doing it. So I had to get, tech certified first, get dives under my belt, then do my tech instructor course and all that kind of stuff. And it was, at the time, I remember distinctly not being that bothered by it, because my philosophy for diving was I never wanted to own more dive gear than I could fit into an 80-liter backpack. And now I'm sitting in a single car garage in Miami with more dive gear than I could shake a stick at. So something went wrong with that plan somewhere along the line. So I didn't want to get into tech because I didn't think it was that different from what I was already doing. And boy, was I wrong. Obviously, here in Miami, we've got a huge array of wrecks that are technical dive only. And I wouldn't get to see those and experience those wrecks if I hadn't got into technical diving. So at the time, I was very hesitant. I wasn't really bothered with it. It looked like a lot of effort and a lot of heavy gear for basically doing the same thing I was already doing. But I was very, very wrong about that. And I was lucky that my boss at the time was very keen to push me and sort of, tutor me into it and mentor me. Very, very thankful for his guidance and his gentle coercion.
Oh, brilliant. Right, Menno's back on. Menno, we're not going to answer this at the moment because we are going to come on to that. So stay tuned. You'll find out the answer. But more importantly, he wants to know, how is your pub quiz knowledge nowadays? Still sharp as a tack. Jasbir's back on. He's liking it. Thanks, Jasbir. Seuss West, I think that's the first time I've had Seuss West. I've only had enough to watch. Had to go pop in to say greetings. Is that one of your dive guys? Is it? No, I don't recognise the handle, but there we go. Critter Hunter, he's taking over. I did an intro to Teching Gilly with Goodman Blue Marlin. Will Goodman at Blue Marlin. Okay, cool. Don't know who that is. I know where Blue Marlin is. It's one of the biggest shops on Gilly T, but I don't know if Will Goodman was there when I was there. So many years ago. When are you getting a yellow box from Cornwall? What's going on here with you and Menno? Right, it's just some code stuff. No. He's asking if I'm buying an AP rebreather. Ah, well, we're coming on to that later on. We're coming on. Yellow box from Cornwall. Yeah. And AP valves, which they call, I forget what the ambient pressure they call it now. Yes. I knew, I think Martin Parker runs it now. I knew his father and his mum. And the AP is from Angela Parker. Oh, okay. Wow. That's the original AP. Oh, wow. That's cool. I didn't know that. Question for Brian. Do you miss Anilau? Yes. And I miss Darwin, and I've never been there. Right. Good news. Next month, we may be able to fly if we're vaccinated. So, then Maldives will be out the window. Philippines, top of the list. There you go. Yeah, Credand's got a big road trip, an exciting road trip planned around Philippines. That's going to be a good series. Awesome. We should go and crash it, Brian. Yeah. I've got because I was talking to Credand, because we have a chat every couple of weeks, and I said, look, I really want to do the Spiegel Grove, and he said, you've got to get James to take you to the Vandenberg. No. It's a checkbox exercise. You absolutely should dive the Vandenberg once. But if you give me the choice of only ever diving the Spiegel Grove or the Vandenberg, I would take the Spiegel Grove every day of the week and twice on Sunday. It's a much better wreck. It's sank in a much better position. The Vandenberg is unusual because you have, both incredible current and terrible viz. Right. It's a bit like the Muslim Dam.
Yeah. It'll remind you of British diving. At least the times that I've dove the Vandenberg, I haven't had a lot of success there. But the Spiegel Grove for me is a much superior dive in terms of conditions, quality of the wreck, wildlife, everything. I think.
Well, we've got a week together, so I guess we're going to do all of the good stuff.
Right.
But Menno likes the Vandy, as does Justin, so they can go and do that while we're on the Spiegel Grove, right?
Yeah. Well, the first time I did the Vandy was with Menno, with Finding Menno.
Ah, right. Menno, no problem with questions. That's the whole point of going live, right? Burhan's on. Now, Burhan is an incredible guy. He's been teaching diving longer than you and I, and he's based in Libya.
Awesome.
Really good support of the channel. Fantastic supporter of my channel, and I guess he's already subscribed to yours. And Brock's in the room as well.
Brock's in the house.
Oh,
hey, Brock.
Yeah, I'm getting all the royalty in here today. Right. Right, let's get back onto some questions. Let's get back onto some questions. But Crit Hunter's got another. We'll leave you for a while. From looking at your website, it looks like you're focused very heavily on open circuit technical training. Any plans for regarding rebreathers in the future? And what are your thoughts on rebreathers in general? I know you like the Russian helmet.
Yes, the Russian helmet, but of which I filmed in Dima in 2019 and I've heard nothing since. It's I wonder. My thoughts on rebreathers are they are fantastic pieces of equipment. I can't wait to get back to rebreather diving. I have a small amount of rebreather experience from my time in the Caribbean. My short to midterm plan is to pick a unit, start training Q1 next year, build my hours, and eventually become an instructor on it. Now, for those watching that may be unfamiliar, when you train on a rebreather, it's not like training open circuit where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a Scuba Pro BCD and an Aqualung regulator. But if you go down and buy a Dive Right regulator and a Ziegel BCD, the diving is the same. You get trained on a specific unit. So my process right now is selecting the right unit that I will eventually one day become an instructor on. So kind of like imagine if you had to do your driving test and you were only allowed to drive Toyotas. That's it, because you learned to drive in a Toyota. But you can't drive a Nissan or a Ford. You can only drive Toyotas. So I've got to be really careful because it's a big financial investment and I need to pick the right unit for my geography, not just for the type of diving I want to do, obviously deep tech, expedition diving. I want to be able to travel with the unit, all those kind of requirements. But I also need to look at the landscape here in South Florida and make sure that there aren't a ton of other rebreather instructors for the model I choose. So that's kind of an additional factor right now that I'm looking at when I go through the different rebreathers that are on my shortlist. But I mean, it's the future. More and more divers are taking up the rebreather every year. They're getting safer. The technology is getting safer. So I'm very much looking forward to that as the next step in my professional development. And that's definitely going to happen.
What rebreathers have made it onto the shortlist so far? Are you?
So I was looking very hard at the DiveSoft Liberty. That being said, one of my colleagues at a dive center local here in South Florida has also just taken that on and is working towards being an instructor. So now it'd be like me competing against somebody who is a dear colleague of mine in the industry. Not sure about that. So Hammerhead maybe, Meg maybe, Revo maybe, but there's a ton of instructors for each of those down here. AP would be my go-to of choice, but they're just not supported very well in the US from a distributor point of view. So there's pros and cons to everything. I don't think there is a perfect rebreather for me right now. KISS is on the short list. I'd have a look at the KISS Classic. Mainly the attraction for that is there are not very many instructors in South Florida for the KISS. There are up in Cave Country, but not many down here in South Florida. So all of those things are basically the sort of determining factors. But yeah, it's an ongoing process of review, shortlists, pros and cons, and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, David Street's been on. Let's see what he's got to say. I know I've skipped a few comments. I'll come back to them, but this is relevant to the rebreather discussion we're having now. I'll bring a P4 to Miami.
Let's go.
Let's go. There you go, David. Ask James if he's going to Demon this year. Yes, he is.
Yes.
I'm also going. So if you're there, Dave, we can hook up. And I'm looking for a dealer.
For rebreathers or
Okay,
cool. Okay.
Right. So
I mean, that's just a very broad statement that could be taken a number of different ways.
yeah. So I'll if it's okay, I'll give David your email address and you can
Absolutely, yeah.
about his plans and stuff. I like to help David out because him and I learnt to dive same year, 1982. We worked together in construction for several years. So, and he's
awesome.
I've become a scuba tuber and he's become a rebreather manufacturer. So
awesome. Yeah, definitely put us together. That'd be great. David, look forward to connecting with you.
Right, let's have a go. Let's just catch up on some of these. Critter Hunter, again, about the Vandy. Bad current, what sort of sorcery are you talking about? No, it's fact. You know, James deals in fact, mate. He doesn't.
He's spoiled. He's absolutely spoiled.
Yeah. Mimo's back. Does speak also. What? 9 o'clock shuttle. Mimo, keep this coming in because it's fantastic. It gets James laughing. I love seeing that smile on his face when you put it up. What's that about?
That's a brutal story, and I don't know if this is a family show or not, so I'm not sure we can talk about the 9 o'clock shuttle.
This is hardcore diving, mate.
Okay.
I don't.
So the 9 o'clock shuttle is we went down to Key West to dive the Vandenberg. Menno, myself, a bunch of other friends, and it was a weekend trip. Obviously, Saturday night we're looking at going into town to have a meal, and we checked the hotel schedule, and there was a 9 o'clock shuttle to get us back to the hotel. And we're like, oh, perfect. We'll take the 9 o'clock shuttle back to the hotel. Everyone agree? 9 o'clock shuttle. Great. Okay, fantastic. Well, 2 a.m., we're stood in a gas station eating hot dogs. Okay.
Say no more.
So the 9 o'clock shuttle never happened. And that's just, Menno's latched onto that now. About any time we go out, we've got to get the 9 o'clock shuttle.
We've got Turgut. Turgut's a really good supporter from the UK. Of my channel. I'm pretty sure he's already subscribed to yours. Hi, Turgut. Good to see you.
Hey, Turgut. Nice to see you.
Calon Jab 91. Would you start a new diver on a wing? Is it the future of recreational diving? Controversial.
Absolutely, and I do. I mean, not a fullback playing wing, but I teach in the Dive Right Hydrolite. I put all my open water students in that. It's an entire donut shaped wing. A true wing, not a hybrid sort of thing that tacos and folds. This is a proper flat winged BCD, and I put my students in that, and they just they trim out perfectly. First time in the swimming pool, boom, just they can't fight it. It's beautiful.
All right, another question for you, for James. Night diving on the is it the Benwood on the 14th?
Yep.
Any specific spots on that wreck that I should be looking for?
Spots, not really, Stephen. Thanks for your question, but it's just turtle heaven. It's basically like a youth hostel for turtles. So at the night, they all come in there, they nestle down, tuck themselves in somewhere. There's lots of sort of overhangs and ledges and stuff, so make sure you're looking under. You'll also see schooling parrotfish towards the bow that come in and, settle down for the night, put their little mucus sleeping bags on. All that good stuff. So yeah, no, it's a fantastic night dive. The Benwood's a great night dive.
All right, we've got Menno back on talking about his conversion to CCR. He's on the KISS. So yeah, relevant. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, very cool.
David Street. Kevin Jurgen will be supporting the Proteus.
I don't know who that is.
David, can you just put up who David is, and we'll just run that up in a while. I think he's a big guru in the US in electronics and rebreathers.
Right.
Is there hammerheads in Miami? James might just need another critter challenge.
Works for me, man. I just had some the other day. We did the Queen of Nassau, 230 feet to the sand. And on Deco, we had 2 hammerheads swimming around us the whole time.
There you go. Critter
and
hunter.
I already got the video.
No, you've got to do it after the challenge, because I had one like that when I thought I'll just put up some old stuff. So there, he's giving you a challenge there.
Not a problem. Not a problem, especially this time of year.
Oh, here he's boasting about his diving in Darwin now.
Yeah.
Hi, Bad. It just takes over the show, right? Man, those good memories. Yeah, you two seem to have had an incredible time.
He's lying. He doesn't remember.
Question from Turgut. James, what do you think about Mara's Horizon?
Next question.
I think that means not very much.
Hi, Turgut. Thanks so much for following us. Appreciate it, mate. It's great to have you with us on the channel.
All right. Hold on. Here's Critter Hunter. Name dropping.
The owner of Mara's is his new neighbor.
Yeah, I'm trying to be his best female friend. That'll get people talking.
Best friend forever.
Is James a multi-agency instructor? I think I've seen this on your channel before, but I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I'm not at the moment. I mean, I used to teach PADI and IANTD, and now I just teach for international training, SDI, TDI, ERDI, because I only like paying one agency a fee a year.
Yeah, and you had a very good video on that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And I talked about crossing over. You know, there was almost a palpable sense of panic between the dive agencies at the end of last year because so many dive instructors were out of work. So everyone was scared that they weren't going to renew or re-up and pay their, professional dues and memberships, that people were trying to coax instructors from one agency to another, which happens to a certain extent every year, but definitely not as much as it happened at the end of 2020, with COVID situation. So that was kind of an interesting point to make that video where I actually called PADI and I called SSI and I called NAUI and I asked, why should I cross over to your agency and so on? And I got a very mixed bag of answers, but it was a pretty fun video to make.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, I pay one amount per year and I can teach everything I'm qualified to teach. So I don't need different agencies. And, I made the point in that video as well that I've never, ever had a student who has come to me and said, hey, I want to do, my open water course. Great. No worries. I teach SDI. Oh, no, I want PADI. Nobody has ever said that to me. Nobody's ever gone, oh, I don't want SDI. I want a different agency. It's like, okay, well, that's the one I teach. And everyone's totally fine with that. So, agencies will try and convince you that their brand recognition is so strong that they're the only one, the only logo you ever want on your C card. And that is not the case at all. Nobody cares.
Yeah, well, I'm like you see. When people ask me which agency, I said, you don't want to be looking at the agency. You want to be looking at the instructor.
Exactly.
Go for a good instructor.
There's good and bad instructors for every agency.
Okay, we've got another question. Where has he got? Yeah, from Burhan. How is the bib? Is it still intact and diveable? I dove in the late 80s, but haven't been back since.
Yeah, the bib's still intact and diveable. She's on her side. She's the sister ship of the Dwayne, which is also sunk not 500 yards away from her. So yeah, it's a fun dive. It's more of a tech dive than a recreational dive. If you double dip her, the top of the wreck is right around 35 meters. So, even on nitrox, you're not getting a lot of time. And then to actually get to the good stuff, because she's on her side, it's even deeper than that. So it's a very good tech dive. It's a pretty average recreational dive, but yeah, she's still intact, still diveable. A lot of fun.
Well, remember back in the 80s in the BSA City course, we could dive to 50 meters.
That's true.
And we would do deco.
And we were taught decompression tables and schedules and the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I do remember.
But yeah, I'm not advocating that because there is very good research now on 40 being the limit for a recreational diver. So, but it's just, we were just lucky how we got away with some of that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
David's back on. It's Kevin, Jürgen, Sen, and he makes the hammerhead.
Okay. Okay, I just didn't know the name. Yeah.
And I think David collaborates with him a lot on electronics, that sort of stuff. But anyway, I've got you two guys together. That'd be a pretty good video on your channel, the P4. But David, be warned. James says it as it is, mate. So if he thinks it's a piece of CARP, he will say that. But I know it's not. I was just pulling your leg there.
Well, I'm sure it's not. And also, like I said, I'm not.
No, David
I'm not hatchet jobs on anyone.
He's a master of his craft. In fact, he probably spends too much time trying to get things right and perfect than he does pushing the unit out. It's a boutique, bespoke unit.
And I'm not an expert. I've only ever dove 2 different rebreathers, so I'm not in any position to critique a new product on a rebreather. Regulators, bring it on. Give me a reg, I'll take it to pieces, tell you if it's any good or not. Because I've dove every single model and make out there you can imagine. But yeah, no, I wouldn't even touch that from a review point of view.
All right, but it's been okay. There, you're lucky there, Dave. He'll dive it and he'll talk about it.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Good answer. Finally, we've got him. I'm sick. I've never seen a hammerhead. Well, I have, and James has.
There you go.
There you go. Any experience diving Cozumel? I'm heading there July with newly qualified partner. Any recommendations? I've not dived it.
I have dove it, not excessively. It's definitely a place that's on my list to go back to in the near future. It's super accessible, really easy diving. It's a lot of drift diving and fast current. So if you've got experience with that, great. If not, that's the place to go and get experience, because it's always, it's a barrier island off the coast, and you've got, strong currents going through the channel there. So it's, drift diving, super easy. Start in one place, get picked up at the other place, and just keep your head on a swivel, because you'll be staring at the reef, at the wall as it goes past you, and there'll be, whale sharks behind you, or pot of dolphins swim by behind you. So keep half an eye out in the big blue.
So that's a good choice. That's a good choice for a vacation.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Super easy diving. Super easy diving.
Yeah, Critter Hunter's just come in. Look for toadfish there, top of my list for Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. Matthias wants to know when you were in Gili.
Geez, 2008, 2007, 2007, I think.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
David, next question. Yeah,
I'll speak to Justin regularly. In fact, we had him on the show right at the start, and we may get him back on if he clicks the link when we close out. So yeah, but he's watching, so he'll appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We were talking about this, weren't we? Yeah, it's. He wants to know because of the way you sort of expose the agencies. Are you on anyone's hit list?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I should probably hire a bodyguard for when I go to DEMA.
I'll be there with you. Don't worry, mate.
I did make a but you're not going to take a bullet for me, Brian. I wouldn't expect that. That's
it depends where.
Okay.
Right, it depends where. I wouldn't mind a bit of fame. Wounded, getting my purple diving star, protecting the legendary James Blackman. Come on.
I don't think that's a thing. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing, but I like it. No, actually, I did make a video about the Paddy 5-star scam, about how they will give a dive center 5 stars, but only based on the number of certificates they process. So you could have the dirtiest, most disgusting dive center where they never take the trash out and the toilet's filthy and the boats are disgusting and the gear is never serviced. But as long as you pump out those certificates, you're 5-star. And I said that's misleading, because when you think of a 5-star hotel or anything else that's referred to as 5 stars, you're expecting the best, you're expecting luxury and cleanliness. And I made that kind of point, beat that point to death in a video. And then I was at DEMA, that came out just before DEMA. I went to DEMA and I got a standing ovation from SSI. They were like, "Oh, that's the Paddy 5-star video guy." And SSI gave me a standing ovation at the booth. Well, I was like, okay, guys,
If you ever need any footage of a 5-star who don't take the trash out, have got a shit boat, don't change the wash tank water, I've got some really good stuff from a centre in Subic. So you're quite welcome to have that. Just say, "Brian, send me that stuff." Right. Burhan's asking about you. Is James qualified? I hope so. And does he teach advanced and technical wreck diving?
Absolutely. That's my bread and butter. I was doing it yesterday and I'm going to be doing it tomorrow.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, okay, we're going to talk about that later on, Mimo.
Okay.
He's right. James made fun of me for wearing a double like Jonathan Bird. Yeah, remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he makes fun of me for using an Air 2 and a weight belt every now and again. So, well, that's James, right? Says it as a secret. All right, so yeah, Matthias was there 2010. Oh, Captain Eelgrass. Great little channel. He virtually exclusively puts his camera. He does do a couple of challenges and that for Critter Hunter, but great little channel, boutique channel, where he's up in the northwest, and you see some amazing stuff where he just leaves the camera, things like octopuses and that. So he's come on. Good morning.
Awesome. Good.
I use the orange Divers Ready shirt to distract. Yeah, so yeah, do we all wear orange Divers Ready shirts when we go to DEMA?
Well, Menno has a one-off special print orange one because he's Dutch.
Because he's Dutch, yeah. I was kind of.
So he has a one-off orange Divers Ready shirt. That's it.
Yeah, they love their orange, don't they?
Sure do.
I still use an orange hood, a fluorescent hood, not. And I was just on a boat with some Dutch people and they say, "Where'd you get those from?" I said, "I don't know. I got them 25 years ago."
Yeah.
But they love that orange. Dude, James is way bigger than the last DEMA. They're going to roll out the red carpet. Yeah, that's what I told you at the start. I've got YouTube royalty on the show. Right, let's get back to the questions. We've got off.
Shoot.
Thanks for the comments. I think James appreciates them. I certainly do.
I surely do.
Nothing's off the table. We'll talk about the 9 o'clock shuttles and eating hot dogs at 2 a.m. in the bar or gas station in the Keys. No problem at all. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Oh, there's some more good comments coming up here. We've got to talk about James. It's his interview. At the moment, you're training divers to upgrade and improve their technical skills on a one-to-one basis. I know you're also doing introductory course, open water courses, and that we talked about that. Mm-hmm. And I like what you do as an instructor, one-to-one, reasonably priced. I'm having a week with you. I'm paying full whack, and it's not expensive for that level of quality and service. But I mean, I think you were saying you're now taking bookings for March 2021.
2022.
How do you develop that model further? Are you going to become an instructor trainer? And because especially if you've got an open waters going all the way up, or are you going to take on one or two instructors? Because it's going to get bigger, right?
It is going to get bigger, yeah, and that's the growing pains, the struggle of managing that kind of demand, because there is only one of me, and if you're only teaching one-to-one, you can only do a certain amount of students per year, allowing time for other pursuits. So it is something we're looking at right now. To answer your question directly, Brian, I don't have any interest or desire right now to become an instructor trainer. And the main reason for that is not because I wouldn't be passionate about making instructors, because that's something I feel very passionate about. And a lot of our content on the channel is geared towards making newly qualified instructors the best instructors they can be and help them to avoid mistakes I made when I was a new instructor fresh out of the packet and thought I knew everything and actually didn't. So that is something I'm very passionate about. But the challenge comes that when you make that step to become an instructor trainer, you basically unofficially work for the training agencies. And it's incredibly expensive and an incredibly laborious process. And it wouldn't really add that much more to my revenue stream because I still want to focus on teaching one-to-one. So it's not really a step that makes a lot of sense for me from a business perspective. So in areas of growth, what we're looking at is definitely developing the travel side of things and doing more group experiences. So what we'll do, Menno mentioned about the Bonaire trip that got cancelled. The idea was was to take 8 buddy pairs, either 2 friends or a couple or whatever, take them all to Bonaire, and each one gets an individual day of coaching with me. And each one in turn gets their day, and in the meantime, they get to spend the rest of the time hanging out at the villa, doing, as many dives as they want to do in a truly, world-class diving location. So we want to focus on creating experiences that are not sort of your run-of-the-mill resort dive kind of group travel trips. So we're working with some sort of hand-chosen operators around the world to put together a really strong package as soon as everything opens back up again for travel. That's sort of our main focus right now in sort of the area of growth for Miami Technical Diving.
Yeah, I mean, I saw your Bonaire promo and that looked a really nice setup that you'd organised there. So is that trip still back on for 2022, 2023, or?
As soon as Bonaire opens back up again, we'll look for dates. The trip sold out in 48 hours, and we gave everyone their deposits back because we just couldn't tell them, not knowing it during the pandemic when it was actually going to happen. We were like, okay, let's just cancel everything, give everyone their deposits back, and start again afresh. But it's definitely a trip I want to do because it was, there was a real buzz to it that you do as much diving as you want to do. If you're an early bird, you want to get up and do a dawn dive, great. If you want to sleep in because you're on vacation, you don't have to get up to catch a boat. It's all shore diving. Every couple would have a rental truck so they can go and do as many dives as they want. We were going to have empty cylinders picked up from the villa in the evening, full ones dropped off. So we were all set and ready to go. And then, like I said, every buddy pair would have one day of coaching with me to work on whatever they wanted to do, be it a formal course, work on their underwater videography and so on. So it was a really, really nice package. We're absolutely going to reschedule it. The people who had booked with us the first time will have first refusal if those dates still work for them. But it's just a case of waiting for Bonaire to tell us when they're going to open back up again. That's really what we're waiting for.
And the Sardine run, that's on, and you're doing 2 trips now, I think, aren't you? Or back to back, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, back to back. So I'm going to be there I leave on the 3rd of July, and I don't get back to Miami until the 29th. So I've got a lot of things to do in South Africa while we're down there. But yeah, we're doing 2 weeks. We opened the first week up. We sold out 2 boats, and then we opened up a week before the week we'd originally booked. But super excited for that. I mean, that is really a once in a lifetime experience to go there and basically put yourself into a BBC or National Geographic wildlife documentary. I mean, you're going to be there seeing it live. And, reports out of South Africa already, because as the sardine run moves up the coast, the migration happens. We're already getting reports that it's truly an epic year. So really excited for that. Can't wait. And if that is as much of a success as we plan for it to be, then there's a very good chance that could become an annual Divers Ready Miami Technical Diving traditional trip.
Right, and there's still places available on these trips, or are you fully sold out?
Completely sold out, yeah, completely sold out.
There you go, people. Keep an eye out, because knowing James, it'll be a success. That means it will be a regular occurrence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's get a few more comments out. Mimo now talking about Dima. We'll be getting lots of free drinks because on the back of James, apparently.
I've gone down a whole rabbit hole here.
Yeah. Cullen Jub again. In both your experiences, what nation stereotypically best and worst divers? I'll go with that first because I dive with a lot of nationalities. I don't think you can actually put it down to nationality. You get good divers and bad divers. I'll give you an example. I was on the Maldives recently with some Russian divers. A group of them, they go on a triple, and their skills were just amazing.
Yeah.
And again, James, correct me if I'm right, it comes down to your instructor, the quality of instructor. And I don't think you can actually blame it on a country. You get good divers and you get poor divers and you get bad divers, the reef wreckers. James, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's down to where you get your training and how much work you put in after your training. It's not 100% down to the instructor either. The instructor can set you off on a good path. A good instructor can give you good habits. You've got to then go out and do work. You can't perfect a diver in 4 or 6 dives in an open water course. You've got to go out and get 100 dives and 150 dives that your instructor isn't going to be there with you for. So they need to, you as a diver need to go out and work on your own skills. I don't think it's, nation specific. I know good divers and bad divers from most countries. One thing I would find always curious is when you have the PADI Quarterly magazine and you look in the back at the quality assurance of who gets kicked out, instructors and dive centers getting closed down because of breach of standards. That was always curious to me, that there seemed to be a prevalence for Italy and Thailand. But that's not about the divers. That's about the discipline of the management of the dive centers. That was always sort of the trend. I'd always look in the back to see who got kicked out of PADI, and it was always, those two nations seem to be in the lead. But that doesn't mean that the divers there, the actual general diving population, are any better or worse than any other country.
Yeah, and the best divers, of course, are the British divers, aren't they, James?
Well, of course. I mean,
British Tobacco Club, blah, blah, blah. Take that with a pinch of salt. But Critter Hunter, he's going. They've gotten on this Deemer thing now.
Oh no, they've gone down a whole rabbit hole. They need to take that whole chat private. You guys, Critter Hunter and Finding Menno need to get a room.
Right, that's it. You're not over to take it. So we've only got comments from them now. Let's get back onto the questions. I'm looking forward to meeting Menno. He seems like a right party animal.
He's a good character.
Right, future goals and plans for Miami Technical Diving, because you are now, and I know you won't say this, but you're undoubtedly a YouTube celebrity, right? Are you going to be able to do both in the long term?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, students will always be my priority. Not just because they're, the thing I'm most passionate about. They're also financially my bread and butter. It's how we, make the bills work here. So absolutely, the students are always the priority. And if it ever comes down to a choice between instructing versus making videos, I'll always choose the instruction. But so far, I've got a full teaching roster, and I'm still able to get the content out on a regular basis. So I don't see why that shouldn't continue, Brian, to be honest. Yeah, we're just going to keep trucking. And
you're a very disciplined scuba tuber. You stick, not like me, I put stuff up sometimes every day, then I'll do it for a couple of weeks. You're very disciplined on your upload schedule. Yes. And I guess that's because you've got to juggle both. So you go, right, that's the time for doing that. And I've got to look after my students. Brock, Brock's been on about us British divers. Don't always just dive in quarries. Of course we do, Brock. That's what makes us so good, because if we can put up with that stuff, we can dive anywhere.
Exactly.
Britain has got some fantastic diving.
Yeah. And we do have ocean all the way around us as well. So, you're never that far from the ocean, even if you're in the middle of, the country.
We've got some of the world's worst fizz, some of the worst currents, but we've also got some of the world's best fizz and some of the world's best marine life.
Indeed.
Okay, Matthias has got to go. He's got to get ready for his vacation. Cool. See you, Matthias. Okay. Brian Huff's on. James,
hey,
have you ever considered doing a YouTube subscriber dive, something local, weekend takeover kind of thing?
Yes, but the question there is local to where? Local to Miami? That's where I am. And then everyone else would need to fly in for that, or local somewhere else. So yeah, that is definitely a thing that could happen. We could look at getting group rates down in Key Largo, doing a private charter, taking a whole boat out, all that kind of good stuff. Absolutely. That thought has occurred to me, and it probably needs more thought, Brian, but it is something we could definitely flesh out.
Brian, can you just clarify if you did mean local to Florida or South Florida and where James is? I think that's what you meant. I'll be happy to dive with you. I'm over there in February next year.
There you go. Maybe we can, bookend that together.
Right, what have we got? Yeah, okay. Oh, the discipline is Karina. Emma, good point. I'm a UK diver and never dived a quarry. Yeah. You're down in the southwest, which again is a diving hotspot with generally very good visibility. And
exactly.
Callan Jump, obviously a Welshman. Wales has the best diving. Cumbria, I know, I'm supposed to be Welsh. My grandfather's Welsh, but Cumbria I know is Wales, but I don't know what Amblife means. Right. So they've got someone up for a Key Largo trip, James, already.
There you go.
And Brian is in Florida, so yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, local Florida. Yeah. Okay, Brian. We'll set something up for sure.
Okay, and Turgut's just saying, have a nice trip to Matthias. Matthias is off on holiday. Now, let's get back to the travel. So we've talked about Bonaire. That's on as soon as Bonaire opens. The Sardine run is there, and if successful, likely be a annual event. Any other things on the drawing board, concept, places that you're thinking of?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, long list. We're working with a couple of operators in the Philippines right now, so we're looking to put a trip together for that again. As soon as they open back up again, I'll be hitting Justin up as soon as we've got plans solidified. So that's definitely a thing that's going to happen. We've got to get the Bonaire thing back up and running. I would love to do Pacific coast of Mexico. That's been on my list for a long time, and it's some beautiful stable diving there. They've got great accommodation. You've got shore diving, boat diving. So somewhere around, Cabo, Baja Sur, something like that. That'd be amazing. What else have we got coming up? Liverboards we were talking about just before we went live as well.
Yeah.
So we'd love to do a liverboard divers ready takeover as well. We just got to pick the location for that.
Yeah, well, I'll help you on the reviews of the liverboards. I'll go and do the pre-explore.
Yeah, exactly. You check them out. Let me know which ones are worth our time, and then we'll take it from there, Brian.
Right. Let's have a look here now. Serious question from Menno. General trend in that diving seems less popular with the younger crowd. How can we change our business and sport to keep it relevant?
Yeah, good question. This is something that Menno and I talk about often over beers. The younger crowd, as they say, is more based on an experiential kind of lifestyle where they'll get their PADI or get their C card, tick that box, and then move on to whatever the next thing is. So the challenge there is, okay, well, once they've ticked that box, how do we retain them in the sport of scuba diving? And the trick is to make sure they understand the different experiences, types of diving, flavors of diving, if you will, that are available out there. So it's not just a case of, I got my open water, now I'm going to go for a bungee jump, now I'm going to go for a skydive. It's okay, well, let's talk about freshwater diving. Let's go and do the springs in North Florida. Let's go and do a liverboard and keep people in the sport by making sure that they're not doing the same dive every weekend, because that's how people drop out of the sport, but creating variety, right? Variety is the spice of life. So that's really how you're going to hold the attention of the younger generation, by getting them more involved in trying different aspects within scuba diving. We know as veterans in the industry how vast and varied this sport can be. It's just making sure that all of those opportunities and different styles of diving are available to everyone born after 1985.
So we're quite lucky in the Middle East. The young are still learning to dive. In fact, during the pandemic, the scuba business was flat out teaching youngsters to dive. Because there wasn't much else to do, right? Question from Callan Jab on action cams again. Do you want to handle this one? Then I'll come in, because I film exclusively with action cams. So do you want to get this one first?
Yeah, so did I up until recently. Before I invested in the big housing for the studio camera that we've got. And I'm a GoPro guy. Matthias, who just left the chat, is a DJI guy.
Yeah.
The Paralens, is it worth it? Not really. It's not as flexible as you would want from an action camera. So GoPro is great if you strap it to yourself when you go skydiving, if you put it on your handlebars to go mountain biking, and also for scuba diving. The Paralens is really only useful for scuba diving. It's also 1.5 times the price of the GoPro. So for the GoPro, you've got more versatility and a better price point. And I also think the stabilization in the GoPro is just generations ahead of where Paralens are. So I would definitely go for that. Definitely invest in a tray arm. Definitely invest in light situation. Both, Matthias and I, through the Across the Ocean series, we've focused a lot on action cameras, because we know that is the entry point for underwater filming for most people. So we've got a whole series of videos on that. You can check them out either on Matthias's channel, Matthias Lebo, or on Divers Ready. We've got the same playlist on both. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I film exclusively with GoPros, or I say that I do have the Paralens Vaquita, which I don't put much up on. I'm probably the guy who's done the most work on the Vaquita.
Yes.
Nice bit of kit. I like the engineering, but as James said, it's just not versatile. I can't get close up of fish. I'm not talking macro. I have come with a technique now where I use a magnifying glass behind the Paralens. How awkward is that, right? GoPro, definitely the go-to camera. It's cheap. You can do lots of things. You don't even need lights. In fact, I've only just started using lights. I had a comment on the channel, so Orca Torch supported me with a good discount. I'm working on that video. In fact, I was showing my camera setup where I run 2 GoPros and a Paralens with Matthias earlier today. In your tray, if you can afford it, go with 2 GoPros because they can be unreliable. Mine will switch off sometimes, will not switch on again, and they've still got 70% charge. I've just looked online. If I reboot the camera and the SD card from a PC, they say that might fix that. But I mean, everything on my channel, 90% of the content is done with Hero 8 Blacks or Hero 7. I will be going to the Hero 9, but it costs money. I just can't buy a new camera every time somebody brings it out. So, and it's a great entry level because even people who've got $10,000 worth of gear like James will still carry a GoPro.
Absolutely.
So it's not money wasted at all. But that was a really good question. Thank you for that. Let's see. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The demographic. Yeah. We've got. This Crit Hunter's come with a good for the Philippines for a liverboard, Tubataha. He's working with someone on a couple of liverboards, which I think are being refurbished at the moment. And he reckons, the younger generation, because Crit Hunter's significantly younger than I am, get them watching ScubaTubers, the underwater potato people, as James calls us.
Three more.
And I think that's what James said. Memo. Brock's on. In my opinion, no more zero to hero programs. Move on more. I love. That's what James really does. That's his business model is based on that, right? And I'm sure people who learn with James in that type of model, that one-to-one, very few will drop out because they will have the confidence, good level of skills, good level of confidence. Captain Eelgrass. As I say, I've really I've got some more Paralens. In fact, I offered to send my Paralens Vaquita to James for him to try it out just to spice up the channel. He said, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Well, I'll tell you my Paralens story if you like, while we're on the subject. It's a slightly controversial one, but when I was a much smaller fledgling channel, the Paralens 1 came out, the first Paralens. And I thought it was a really cool idea. I liked the underwater, built-in white balance and the computer built into the camera and all those kind of little things. And I asked Paralens if I could borrow one, not have one, not, to keep. Do they have a loaner? Could they lend it to me? I'll go out, shoot some stuff, and I'll do a review for them. No money to change hands. I will send the camera back when I'm done with it, the whole thing. And they basically told me, no, we need to keep our resources for, bigger avenues for marketing. So skip forward 2 years and we've got nearly 40,000 subscribers, and they just reached out to me last week and said, would I do a review of the Vaquita? And I said, I'm sorry, but I need to, focus my resources on bigger companies. So that was how my conversation with Paralens.
Okay. Anyway, good for you.
I was like, if you're not going to support me when I'm small, I'm not going to support you when I'm bigger. So that was kind of how
a rental scheme in Florida, $25 a day in Florida.
They do, yeah. They've got it at my local dive shop here. They've got a whole wall of them. So so that was my conversation with Paralens. That was like, I'm done with you guys.
Yeah, and it's still work in progress. They still haven't got the EIS. The battery, the 3-hour battery life, they finally got it. Do you know how they got the 3-hour battery life?
Reducing the resolution? I don't know.
Yeah, to 720. Who the hell has a 720 resolution camera nowadays? Nice people, though. I've interviewed the CTO. I think they've just probably been under investor pressure to get the product out before it was finished. The new pistol grip looks pretty cool. I've had a quick look at that. But like you, they don't send me anything. You know, I'm the #1 reviewer, and you know they've got some lenses coming up that make it more. But then you've got a lot of stuff to carry around right underwater. With a GoPro, you can get a backscatter Macro 8 Mini, flip on, flip off, and get close-ups.
Yeah,
so, anyway,
that's my way forward. So
that's our parallels discussion out there. Let's get into divers ready, which I think don't just look at subscribers. James is around 40,000. There's a couple with a few more, but nowhere near as good content, and I think it's legacy subscribers anyway. So I think you're definitely the most popular in the US and probably the world.
That's kind of you.
No, I mean, you've worked hard at it. I mean, you and I had a little knock when you were putting something up and it didn't go up. And I said, oh, come on, you should be more professional. And you gave me a good slap in to say, look, I do this for fun and I don't make money out of it. And now look at you.
Yeah. Still the same though.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, if it stops being fun, I'll stop making videos.
What motivated you to start the channel? And when you started, did you think it'd get this big?
No, definitely didn't think it would get this big. Definitely didn't think it was going to be my #1 marketing effort for, retaining of students. That's for sure. So absolutely not. No, we had no idea that it was going to grow into the monster that it had. Motivated to start was really, I'd had the idea for a while to, share insider tips and things I'd learned from being in the dive industry as a professional with the general population, things you just didn't know behind the scenes. What wasn't I taught during my open water course? What didn't my dive instructor tell me? What do I need to know about these big training agencies that think they're god of diving and actually they're not? So that was really the driving factor, was having those ideas. I thought about doing a written blog on the website and just, optimizing that. But video is so much more powerful, and it didn't seem like there was too many sort of insider exposés at the time that we started our channel on the YouTube platform. And I had an opportunity to put some video thoughts together while my wife was convalescing from a surgery, pretty major surgery. So I took time off of diving, and I can't just sit in my house and twiddle my thumbs. So it was literally just cell phone, me talking to it, and sort of recording my thoughts on the dive industry. Those were our earliest videos. They're still up on the channel now. And then it's just kind of morphed into what we've got today, which is sort of more of a, how can we make you a better diver? Let's look at this aspect, that aspect, and all the different parts that form a complete diver. So, yeah, no, definitely didn't expect it to get as big as it has. And like I said, as long as it keeps being fun and we keep, having that engagement with the audience, that people are really into the content, we'll keep putting it out there.
Right. No. And yeah, we've had this discussion earlier. Your content's fresh. It's to the point. It's extremely well produced and edited. Probably the best out there. I struggle to think of someone who competes with you at that level of professionalism, quality, and subject matter. I know I'm blowing smoke up your butt, but it's true.
Appreciate that. That's kind of you. Very kind of you. Very generous. You're a very generous man, Brian.
No. Right. No, you've worked hard, James. Come on, man. You need a pat on the back. The problem with us British, we don't always treat success as something that should be rewarded, right? It's sort of the successful. No, you've done it, man. Right. Comment there from Brock. I think you've seen it. I don't think we'll discuss that. It's just for people who are interested, the professionals watching, look up this guy, Darcy Kieran. Critter Hunter's come on with a very good point on cameras.
TG6.
The TG6, particularly for macro, is superb. I'm not sure on wide angle and stuff because the lenses. I wouldn't go for it as my first camera. I'd definitely go for it as my second.
Yeah.
Because I'd use a GoPro, and you can mount the GoPro on top of the 6, so you've got a nice excellent. And the thing he really likes about it, because Justin and I talk a lot, is he hasn't got to do any color correction.
Yeah, yeah. Olympus have a good pedigree for underwater video. Out of sort of the big, let's say the big 6 camera companies that focus on, you know, producing cameras for, you know, above water use, Olympus have, without doubt, the best heritage in underwater videography. Because I can remember 20 years ago, probably earlier than that, they were making their own housings. Canon have never made a housing. Nikon, Panasonic have never made a housing, to my knowledge. I think Nikon had a sub-factory that made a kind of crappy housing for some of their early stuff. But Olympus actually made a high-quality housing for their earliest compact digital cameras. So they've always been in the underwater filming game. And the the TG6 is an excellent camera by all sort of standards. So definitely agree with that, Justin.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for that, because, you know, as GoPro guys, got to get onto that. Jasmir's still on. He's enjoying the show. Brock's got a comment. You know, the scuba. I was in the scuba diving business for many, many years, and it's always fragmented by the training agencies. They, you know, it's and that they've popped up, you know, like bloody sunflowers. You know, training agencies. Somebody falls out with one and starts his own. There's no regulation of the diving training agencies, really. They've got the RSTC, which they fund and own, you know. So
which they own, exactly. The WRSTC is made up of the dive agencies that are supposed to police. So all they do is get together every year and agree on, you know, how much can we cut out the courses? What are the minimum standards? How fast can we get someone through an open water course without getting sued?
Yeah, I mean, you could. When I was teaching open water students in my dive business, we used to spend 5 full days.
Yeah,
right. And
absolutely.
Then, and then half the time, maybe a third to half the time, I wouldn't certify the individual. I said, no, you've got to do 2 more dives, which is standards with PADI, right? And most agencies, because yes, they've done everything, but if it's not there, you can't certify them. Everyone certifies after 4 dives, right? And then they say, oh, you just want more money. And I'd say, what did I say? I was going to charge you for the 2 dives.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. And I'll tell you what, they used to end up doing the advanced open water after those 2 dives, because I would say, right, this is good. You know, on the second of the 2 dives, if you want, we can try some navigation and we'll go through the advanced manual. In those days, everyone didn't have to have a manual, right? Now everyone's got to have a kit, right? Just what do they say? Put another $1 in.
That's it.
David, we're not going to answer this split fins off PADI. Controversial. Right. We're not going there.
I'm a diver's rebreather with split fins.
Sorry?
Our diver's rebreather with split fins.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I could just see there's Scuba Diving Unlimited or something where anything goes. If you just put that video on there, the comments that would come. Or Scuba Diving Unlimited, that's it. Yeah, just put that video on there and just wait.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so we're all agreed on the TG6. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Paralens. Yeah, I don't know. They're good people. I talk to them. They take my reviews. I'm very proud of the way I review stuff, you know, and I think they'll get there eventually. You know, it's just that. But the other point is the price.
Yeah,
the price point's too high.
2 GoPros for 1 Paralens.
Yeah, the price point's too high. So I think they'll get there. I think it'll be a boutique camera, not a mainstream, but nice people. I love that, James. We'll never buy a Paralens. Well, I paid full $1 for mine. One thing I will say about the Paralens,
we're still on Paralens, man. What's going on?
Well, I carry it in my setup. I have a Paralens in the middle of the 2 GoPros, and the reason for that is the Paralens is reliable. You know, I've had when I've had 2 8s on the tray, I've had both of them fail within half an hour, just not come on. Right?
What are you doing to these GoPros, man?
Right. No, it's a common problem. I was talking to Raymond at Fantastic Films, and then I've got a fix now where I've essentially got to reboot it. The 5 didn't have those sort of problems at all. The 7 not so much, but the 8 and the 9. But there is a fix, and once I've figured it out, it'll be on my channel. So the reason I still keep the Paralens on there, even though with the latest firmware, it's annoyed me because it takes longer to start. So you run it on the whole dive, as you know. But then when you want to film, it seems to take an age to start. But if anything big comes through and the GoPros pack up, I need content for the channel. I can just point the Paralens at it and get something.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You and I are going to get a reputation, aren't we, James?
Yeah, we're upsetting people.
Yeah, well, no, we're telling the truth.
Story of my life.
Right.
Truth hurts. Truth hurts, Brian.
Right, let's get on to some of the challenges now. I mean, I know you're chasing the Mighty P, and we're all rooting for that day when that video goes on, and you can all guess what the Mighty P is, right? Yeah. When you say, "Thank you, I've done it," we've done it. So. Everyone who listens to this video, please get all your diving buddies to subscribe to Divers Ready. Forget mine. I want James to beat the Mighty P.
Well, they've got a huge marketing department. They've got a whole social media marketing team. I've got me and my laptop. That's it. So I think it would be a quiet and pleasing achievement to hit that sort of level. But it's only a joke. I mean, it really,
it's going to be a quiet, please. You're going to have the bloody champagne out, popping it up.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, it'll be a quiet recognition, that's for sure. I don't think I'm ever going to catch those guys at Simply Scuba because they got about a 12-year head start on me. But yeah,
well, I think when you get there, I'll produce a T-shirt. I'll put it on Teespring. All proceeds to Marine Life Charities.
Perfect.
Project Spark, and it'll just be on there, Divers Ready number, the Mighty P number. He did it. Right, one of the challenges is getting to beat the Mighty P. I mean, you have good growth. You I think in the first 9 months you were up at several thousand on the channel.
Yeah.
So, have you got any strategies or any challenges in growing further, or?
Well, I mean, the challenge is always just to find the time to get the video out on a consistent basis. That's really the thing that YouTube are looking for when it comes to their algorithm, right? They don't want, either people that I've made 5 videos in 5 days, upload and then do nothing for a month. They want to see that you're consistent and that you're working at the channel as an actual craft. Yeah. So I just picked a random time. It's 6:30 in the morning on a Monday, Eastern time in the US here. And that's when my videos go up. But I might have made that video on a Tuesday, or I might be scrambling Sunday night to get the edit finished, get the final video rendered and upload it. But you've got to try and be as consistent as possible there. So that's one of the challenges, because if I have a full week with students, then it's about planning the content ahead of time and making sure I'm uploading, so I don't have to take time away from what I should be focused on to do the videos. Like I said, it always comes second to my instruction. So that's really the biggest thing. In terms of like ideas for content, I'm lucky in that I have, our subscribers are really engaged. So every time I post a video, I get in the comment section 8 to 10 more video suggestions, some of which are feasible that I can actually make, some of which aren't. A lot of people ask me all the time for skills video. I saw somebody else in the chat here asking about doing like an SMB from depth. So I want to kind of Kalonja 911 is asking about, like, do I do skills videos? No, I don't. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, there's already so many skills videos on YouTube of people doing mask remove, replace, regulator remove and replace, and all that kind of stuff. I think Menno already said, like, Gary Dallas has a great DSMB deployment video. Why would I remake that video when Gary Dallas already has a perfectly excellent example of that? Second thing is, I don't try and teach people to dive through YouTube. That's not a thing. Yeah. So you want to come and see a skills demonstration from me? come take a course, and I'll show you all the skills you need. So I don't really do those kind of videos. But other than that, yeah, most of our video topics are user generated. Somebody suggested the other day, hey, why don't you do a video on the debrief, or how do you debrief a dive? What a great topic. Easy. Done. A couple more videos coming up on the channel in the short term include somebody asked me, shot me an email, how do you know when to cancel a dive and how should you go about it? What a great topic. Done. So a lot of my ideas, that's the easy part, because I'm actually getting them fed by the subscribers are telling me what they want to see. So I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I don't know what video to make next. I'm like, great guys, bring it on. Tell me what videos you want.
And that's just feeding in from your success on doing good stuff.
Yeah, and engagement with the community, just making sure you answer the comments and you're as personable as possible. I'm blown away by the amount of comments we get, the amount of emails we get, and they all get read, they all get taken into account. So that makes the ideas or the creativity part really easy.
All right. But I mean, you must be knocking out a 50 to 60 hour work week, right?
On a quiet week, yeah.
Yeah, easy. I mean, because you're fully booked on diver training, right? And then you've got to produce quality videos, So yeah, take my hat off to you.
I dive down in Key Largo, so that's a 12-hour dive day. I leave at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm back by 6:30 in the evening. And then it's record, edit, somewhere in there, walk a dog or two, some dinner,
some malt whiskey.
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing is you can't do that while you're diving, but you can while you're editing.
Yeah. All right, a couple of comments. Critter Hunter. Paralentis Spilt is for snorkel dorks, swimming in broad, so he doesn't seem to be a fan.
He's on the hit list too.
Yeah, they didn't send him one. They didn't send him one to test. Dave, spare air, of course. I don't know what that's about. Emma's shocked. Is asking anyone to review their camera? Well, they didn't ask me. I just bought one and decided to review it. And
they asked me, and I said no.
Yeah, because they didn't support him when he needed the support, right?
Yeah, I didn't ask for a free camera. I just asked for a loaner. That's all. Yeah, that's it.
So okay, we've answered that. David's on his beer, on his roof. Sorry, not on his beer.
He's on his beer drinking roof.
Beer. That's what we should be doing, I guess.
He's on his beer drinking roof.
He's loving the chat.
Excellent.
There you
go. Gary Dallas, that's what I was talking about.
And I think James is absolutely right on this. There are some really good, even a couple of padded course directors who do really good skills videos, and they're, so both of us, we don't want to be doing other people's, regurgitating other people's ideas, right? Both channels want to keep it fresh, right?
Yeah, there's even unbelievable as it may seem, there's actually a Dutch course director who's doing skills out in Thailand somewhere. His skills videos are really good.
Yeah, I've seen him. They're really.
Marcel, I think his name is.
Marcel de Berg or something. Yeah, Marcel
something like that. Yeah, I mean, he makes fantastic videos despite the crippling disadvantage of being Dutch. So
come on now, come on.
Just kidding, Menno. Just kidding.
Dutch are English people who speak a different language, right?
It is, yeah. That's just German spoken backwards.
Anyway, Menno's loving this. It beats the PowerPoint he should be working on.
There you go.
Are there any decent reefs in the Miami region?
No, they destroyed them all to make way for the cruise ship traffic.
Yeah, so.
Which is why I drive an hour and a half down to Key Largo every day I go to work. Because I'd rather drive down there and have really good diving than drive the crappy, trawled, broken up, polluted reefs off of Miami. So Miami really shot themselves in the foot by, building out the cruise ship ports and all that kind of stuff, and just encouraging that was just, very detrimental, but obviously, hugely lucrative. So that was their choice. But yeah, I drive past probably, 3 or 4 dive centers that would be much closer, much easier to get to on my way down to Key Largo, because the diving is better and the reefs are better, more intact and better preserved. So
not really good. To the dive center you use down there?
Say again?
Do you want to give a shout out to the dive center you use down there?
Yeah, predominantly I use Horizon Divers. I dive with those guys all the time. mainly because their boat captains are top class, super professional. And, you know, when you're an independent instructor like I am, and I don't own a boat and I don't want to own a boat, I need a boat like I need a hole in my forehead. I have to trust the captains 100% because they're a reflection of my business. So, you know, if I don't have professional captains, if the boats are dirty, that makes me look bad. And, you know, so I use Horizon Divers because their boats are immaculate. Their captains are professional. They always make good decisions. They're professional at the same time. They also encourage fun. So, yeah, big shout out to, you know, Troy, Gabe, Danny, the captains I use on a regular basis down at Horizon Divers. Awesome.
Well, they sound to me like they're the above water version of James Blackman.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, they've got a whole fleet of professional instructors as well that teach, you know, a wide range of courses. And it's just, you know, it's a major part of my support network. It wouldn't be impossible for me to conduct business without them, but it would be a lot more difficult and a lot less fun.
Right. Critter Hunter's up here. He wants to borrow your camera for a review. I think we both know the answer to that. Begins with N, finishes with O.
Yeah.
For a review only.
Okay, yeah.
He picks up on every little thing you talk about, doesn't he? He's just gotta.
Yeah.
I love him on the live streams because I mean it's late for him.
I know. And he's drunk in a strip club, so you know.
Yeah. Well, no, he's the owner. He's just counting the money at the moment.
It's probably true.
Yeah. All right.
Captain Eelgrass is out. Thanks for dropping by. Great to see you. Okay. Any good dive centre in Pompano now? Because I think a big one closed, didn't it? Yeah, PDC closed down. RIP. Nothing has really taken its place. My good friend Jimmy Godomsky is captaining a charter boat up there a few days a week, but they're not really a dive centre. They're literally just the boat, captain and boat. But he always does a great job. And there's a couple of other charters that I use up in Pompano from time to time. I'll be actually up there tomorrow diving with DH Scuba. I'm teaching a trimix class, so we're doing the Hydro Atlantic Saturday morning and the Lowrance Sunday morning. So 185 feet and 200 feet, 55 meters and 60 meters. So be good dives.
Why did PDC close?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure the real reason. You never know behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. But I heard there was some underhandedness to do with renewal of the lease. Somebody else came in, they wanted the space, and I'm not exactly sure how that went down. But yeah, some real estate deal.
Yeah, and we lost a good dive centre.
Yeah.
Just another question on, has Key Largo got reefs? Is it worth travelling from Europe?
Yes. Key Largo has fantastic reefs. It is a national marine sanctuary, so they are highly protected. And you've got hard and soft corals in sort of, 0 to 45 feet down to sort of 15 meters of water. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Is that the John Pennycamp?
John Pennycamp, yeah, marine sanctuary. Fantastic. Beautiful, finger reef. So you've got different patches. You've got elbow, French reef, molasses reef, and alligator reef all the way down the Keys. Is Key Largo worth traveling from Europe? Yes, if you've never done it before, particularly for the mix of reef and wreck. I think that's particularly attractive to most people. But I don't know, to leave Europe and, to do a 6-hour flight to Key Largo when you could do a 3 or 4 hour flight to Dahab. That would be a personal decision, but maybe if you're bored of diving the Red Sea, then come on over and get some variety.
Oh, just aside, from July the 22nd, our direct to Miami flights are back on.
Awesome, very cool.
Emirates is starting again. Brilliant. Right, let's talk. You've spent what I call a king's ransom, right? Like $10,000 or something around on new underwater videography kit. I like watching that video. That was kind of an unboxing, but that was worth watching. Just to see the smile on your face while you were looking at the kit, It's like all your birthdays have come at once, right?
It's just over there. Hang on. There it is. Hey!
I don't normally do jokes on the channel, right? But I've got to tell you this one. What's the difference between men and boys?
Tell me.
Price of the toys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I always say the man who dies with the most toys wins.
Right. So I know it's still early days with all that kit, but initial thoughts, has it been money well spent? And is it really going to improve the channel? What are you going to do with it? That's going to help.
Definitely going to improve the channel. It doesn't mean I'm going to shoot with it exclusively because, I still have the GoPro that I can clip off and it's a lot more portable. So I will always continue to use a mix of the footage. But really the South Africa trip and the sardine run is going to be the true tester. That's going to be the first time I'm packing it up, checking it, taking it to South Africa, and hopefully producing, a short film, documentary quality short film on the sardine run. That's really why at this specific time we chose to make that investment over, let's say, a rebreather. So really we want to show, the glory of scuba diving and make really just a love letter to the sport. That's basically what we're looking to do in South Africa with that kind of short format film. And then what I want to do is take that film and enter it not into underwater film festivals, but put it up against other action sports. Take it to the Boulder Adventure Film Festival, for example, and put it up against snowboarding films and climbing films. Because I'm on Netflix, I watched Alex Hanold scurry up El Capitan without a rope, free solo. We all watched that film. It was phenomenal, right? What an amazing advert to see somebody who's at the height of their game doing something absolutely mind-blowing, right? And we see these skiing documentaries where people are just herring it down the mountain and there's fresh powder being sprayed everywhere. And it's really beautiful and attractive. Every scuba diving documentary ends and then he died. Every single one.
Yeah.
We got to go get our friend out of the cave because he died and then they died. And, every single damn scuba diving documentary is the same story. And I'm so sick to death of it because it's not attractive for the sport. Yes, there is a time and a place for accident analysis, but glorifying the danger of scuba diving is not attractive to getting new people into the sport. And that's what I'm all about. So that's what we're going to go and do, is actually go and shoot something that not a lot of people have done before. It's a little bit out of the way. It's not the sort of regular thing, but really just make a love letter to scuba diving and show how amazing that sport is, and then take it and put it up and show skiers it and show climbers and mountain bikers and put it in that kind of demographic, and really kind of take it outside of scuba diving and take it to those audience, because that's the only way to grow scuba diving. The only way to grow scuba diving is attract people from outside the sport into it. That's it. We tend to be too focused on selling people the next course rather than getting people in.
It's quite funny because the three sports we mentioned are actually significantly more dangerous than scuba diving.
Exactly.
And you never see anything about someone breaking his neck on a mountain bike, or you get a bit about Michael Schumacher, right, on his skiing accident. But
sure,
it's all positive stuff. But we seem to revel in, somebody died, right?
Yeah, and it's it's not good and it's not attractive.
Oh, so this is why I think your channel's so good, because you think outside the box, James. You really come up with a love letters to scuba diving. What a great sort of title,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
it.
you, man. Yeah. Appreciate it.
We get towards the end. I know we've gone way over time, but you've not sort of been giving me any signals. And I know you've got stuff lined up for the rest of the day. But I think with the comments, people are really enjoying this. I am.
Absolutely.
Now with this new kit, what do you actually? What's the favourite stuff you enjoy filming underwater? Like with Critter Hunter, we know he's obsessed with small stuff.
He loves the macro. Yeah, I like big stuff. I like action. So I like sharks. I like wrecks. I like big schools of fish. Anything with a lot of action in it and a lot of movement. I think that's sort of my preferred. I don't have the patience for macro. You've got to be so. I mean, Critter Hunter's great at it. There's a lot of great macro shooters out there. I haven't even considered. I mean, I have a macro lens for the studio if I want to do a close up of a dive computer or something. But I haven't even considered doing a macro underwater setup, because you just need a hell of a lot of patience and to get those shots exactly right. And then, by the time you've brought it back up and you review the footage, you're like, it's out of focus or whatever, I just don't have that kind of that kind of discipline for that, or talent for that matter. You know, wide angle is easier to shoot because you're pretty much guaranteed to get everything in. You shoot in a high enough resolution, you can punch in and still have high definition. But yeah, I also like movement and action and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, again, sardine run's just going to be brilliant for that. I was
going to say that, hence the sardine run, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that movie.
Absolutely.
Let's see what Crid has been up to. He's talking about rum and stuff. Oh, where do I send the trophy for Brian's longest interview? The time has flown by. My dog's sitting outside. He's going to kill me because
poor wolf.
Poor Wolfie. Bottle of Philippines rum for the tubers meet next year. A bottle. I think we need a
each. I presume he means each.
55-gallon drum, no?
Menno, when are you starting your channel?
Yeah. Well, anyway, rum readily available. Another question from Callan Jab, really good. I mean, some of the best questions we've had, really. Would you travel with a long hose set up on your rigs?
Yeah. I mean, I have done. Absolutely. Depends, what kind of diving I'm doing, really. But yes, there's no harm in that. I presume the emphasis on travel there is, will the hose get kinked or snagged? And the trick to that is just making sure that you pack it well in a regulator case. My preference is always to not check my regulators. So as long as you get a nice, good, a good protective regulator box or bag, then the length of the hose doesn't really matter there. You just make sure you coil it up nicely. Maybe put a couple of T-shirts in the bag as well to make sure that it can't get pinched or kinked in any way. Yeah, absolutely. No issues with that at all.
Okay, so just a few light questions now. Sure. Diving locations. What are the top 3 locations you've dived and why? 3
that I have dived or I want to dive?
That you have dived. That's the next question.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I've never had a bad dive in Indonesia, anywhere in Indonesia, from, Raja to the Gillies. There's, it's really hard to have a bad dive there. But I would actually put, in terms of quality of diving, just slightly ahead of Indonesia, Palau. Palau, for me, is the best reef diving on the planet. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think that's, absolutely spectacular. And then, let me see. Well, I mean, Galapagos, probably. Let's put those 3 in, 1, 2, and 3. It's, right. I could put Truk up there for the wreck diving, obviously. I've had some great dives in the Arctic. But yeah, probably let's go Palau 1, Indonesia 2, Galapagos 3.
Brilliant. And now the bucket list top 3.
Okay, so I'm big into my spearfishing. One of the things I'm really dying to do, and I'm hoping it's going to happen next summer, is spearfishing for halibut in Alaska. That's something that's been on my list for a long time. And I've got some boys here in. Say again?
They're huge, those halibuts.
Oh, 60, 70 pounds, yeah, and up. Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a place in Alaska called Halibut Bay, which is the place to do it. So I've got to get onto that. Cocos Islands, Costa Rica, never done that. So that's definitely on my list. And Okinawa, Japan, which I've never done before.
I'll go to Okinawa with you because I follow some stuff on Facebook and it's like an undiscovered secret.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, not now. We've let it out of the bag, but yeah.
But I really want to get over that when all this pandemic BS is all over. And Japan, of course, is very closed at the moment. I would really love to go over there for a week and just dive with them.
Yes. Yeah.
Menno's come back about his channel. He's got enough footage. He just needs to make enough time to put it on YouTube. So. Right, with that last question, just before we wrap up.
Tell me.
What's your favourite YouTube channel? Doesn't have to be diving related. What's your go-to channel on YouTube?
Well, little known fact, before we actually went down the diving diving YouTube channel rabbit hole, I was going to do a cooking channel because I love to cook. But there are already so many great cooking channels on YouTube. So I was like, there's not much in the scuba diving. I was going to do dive instruction and then do the cooking channel as a hobby. Didn't know that, did you, Brian? See, you're learning.
No, you're going to learn something in a minute.
So there you go.
So your favorite one is
cooking channel. So I like This Guy Can Cook. That's a good channel.
Yeah.
I like Joshua Weissman. I also like Chef Steps. So those three. And I also, I'm big into the music as well. So Rick Beato, that's probably my favorite channel for music, where, he looks at the music theory, he breaks down, he has a whole series of videos called Why Is This Song Great? Where he'll take, it could be a modern pop song, it could be a classic rock song, and he breaks it down into the parts and the recording techniques and the production. That's like endlessly watchable. He is like a very successful producer himself. So it's kind of really cool, really, really watchable stuff. And he's got like 11 million subscribers. So that's testament to his skills.
Well, you're not gonna believe this. But
tell me.
When I started at the pandemic, right, I put up a scuba channel and a cooking channel.
Yeah.
And I was like you, which one am I going to go on? I could do cooking videos all day long, right? Dead easy. Just set the tripod and camera up and do them. It was called Lockdown Kitchen. It's still up there,
Cool.
I don't put videos up anymore, but there's just so much competition,
Yeah, it's insane.
And I thought, right. And then I was looking at subscribers and viewers, and whereas, the cooking stuff moved quite fast, then it stopped. I was never going to really. And then the scuba diving, I thought, well, if I do better content, if I do the Dubai dive sites, people are definitely going to watch it, because who's doing videos on Dubai dive sites, right?
Yeah, exactly right. You gotta find your niche,
All right, let's have a quick look on before we wrap up. Okinawa, a good fact from Cricket. Do you know Okinawa? They discovered the world's smallest pygmy. Nope, I didn't.
Didn't know that either.
Cool.
But that's why we have you in our lives, Justin, for facts like that.
And it's nice because we wear him down during the interview. He finally starts putting up sensible comments. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's had that time of the night in the strip club where, the lights have come on and he's realized he's probably got to go home.
Yeah. So. Now you have to cook for the local dive you host, James.
We do. We do. You come and do a stay and train package, you get, gourmet breakfast, gourmet dinners, And
I'm signed up for that. I'm not going for the diving. I'm going for the hospitality.
Exactly. Come for the diving, stay for the taco night.
Yeah. All right. Callinger, we need to thank you. You've been a really good participant with some really good questions.
Yes, thank you.
And he's trying his Arabic on now, shukran, which means thank you in Arabic. It's past my bedtime.
Not too bad.
That's not because of us. It's because of that bloody lap dancing club he owns.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right, James, it's been great. I mean, where's the time gone? We're nearly at 2 hours.
Thank you so much.
And we're hooking up. We're going to hook up at Dima, and I'm going to stay a week. I'm actually paying you good money, and I'm looking forward to that. Where you're going to help this I'll be less overweight by that time, because I'm consistently losing weight nowadays. Hone some of my skills with you, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
What dives have you got in mind for us? I know we're going to do the Spiegel Grove, right?
Oh, we're going to do the Spiegel Grove. Yeah, I mean, I've probably got somewhere between 300 and 400 dives on the Spiegel Grove, and I'm not bored of it yet. I mean, it's just such a massive wreck. So we'll do the Spiegel Grove, we'll do the Duane. We can look up, going up to Pompano and doing some of the wrecks up there, because they've got a fantastic, artificial reef program. It's just a case of, what wrecks we want to hit on what day. And we'll make a plan from there. But we'll make sure there's consistency and variety. Let's put it that way.
And we're not doing the Vandy, right?
Well, it's a long way to go. We could look at it.
No. I'm following your lead.
Yeah, if it's a tick box exercise, maybe not while we're doing the training, but if you wanted to do a fun dive afterwards, we could drive down, and take it from there. So we just got to watch out for that 9 o'clock shuttle back to the motel.
Yeah,
because it's dangerous. That 9 o'clock shuttle will get you every time.
Right, I'm going to spend a couple of weeks in Florida, maybe 2 or maybe even 3 weeks. What else should I be looking at doing while I'm there diving wise?
Well, obviously the springs and the caves, if that floats your boat, that's absolutely, a must dive as well, because you've got just bankable water temperature, great crystal clear, springs and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a very different kind of diving. But all the way up the coast, I mean, there's 4,000 artificial or man-made structures sunk off the coast of Florida. So you could do a different wreck dive every day of the year for something like 8 or 9 years. It's insane.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely. Yeah, when you put it in that context.
Yeah. So you're spoiled for choice, But there are also, epicenters. Jupiter is an epicenter, West Palm Beach, Pompano, and then Key Largo, all the way down through the Keys. Key Largo has more dive centers than gas stations. So you've got tons of variety, really tons of variety.
And what about the Gulf Coast on the opposite side?
I've only done a little bit of diving on the Gulf Coast. We were invited out by, when the pandemic first hit, I put it out there to dive centers that if they wanted to be featured on the channel, I would just come and dive with them. And only one person ever took us up on that, which was Adventure Outfitters in Tampa. So my wife and I packed up the car, drove across Florida, and went diving with these guys. Super friendly guys, really into their diving, and they've got the best of both worlds in that they have ocean diving. Yes, you've got to go quite a long way offshore to get any kind of depth at all, but they also have the springs on their doorstep too. So if the ocean is angry and howling and all boat dives are cancelled, they just drive like an hour up the road and go dive in the springs. It's a pretty phenomenal way to have a dive center and have that kind of flexibility. That's for sure.
All right, we'll just wrap up on a few comments. He's got 3 exploration dives tomorrow. Your cooking is getting a good shout out from Mino.
Absolutely.
Turgut, thanks. Always appreciate your support.
Appreciate it, Turgut. Thanks so much.
Oh, it's not basketball, but you're just boring.
Yeah. Well, of course we're boring compared to the strip club that you're sitting in.
Yeah. Anyway, at least don't be a hater. At least we've got someone who liked it. David, thank you. Oh, yes, come on, Sam. He was joking. He obviously felt bad after he posted that. Turgut, yeah, cool. Yeah, we're going to see David at Dima, I guess.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
The 9 o'clock shuttle. Right. Yeah, hold on. AM or PM?
Exactly. They got both. Next one, another one in 12 hours.
What's the Great Carrier Reef?
It's the wreck of the Oriskany. Up in, it's off the Panhandle. You can get to it out of Destin area. So it's the largest artificial reef in the world. It's an aircraft carrier that they sank out there. Starts around 125, 140 feet and goes all the way down. Basically, it's on. I'm going to do that.
Critter Hunter was telling me about that.
Yeah. So the challenge is I've planned a weekend because you've got to do it from Miami. You've got to do it for a weekend, right? You've got to get up there, take your tech gas, and really sort of make a weekend of it. So you drive up on the Friday, stay overnight, dive it Saturday. It's 3 hours offshore as well, or something insane. I can't remember exactly, but it's a long way offshore. It's a big commitment. Dive it Sunday, drive back Sunday night. Okay, no problem at all. Every time I've planned it, the captain's called me on Thursday evening and said, "Don't bother, we're going to get blown out." And then of course, then it's weekend. So then it's 6 months before I can plan another weekend. And so I've just never got on it yet, but hopefully we'll have better luck when you're here.
Right. Oriskany, the Oriskany, how's that?
Oriskany, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the name of the aircraft carrier.
That's the name of the carrier, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's on one of mine as well. Okay.
Austria in the house.
Greetings from Austria. And first time I've had comments from this person. Thank you for watching.
Schön.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to end it now. James, again, superstar.
Brian, thank you so much.
A scuba tuber, an underwater potato.
Underwater potato. That's me.
Brilliant. Really good, James. I just can't thank you enough for spending 2 hours just having a chat and a bit of a laugh and answering all the comments. Really spectacular. I'm rooting for those subs to get up there past the mighty P, and anything I can do, I do. I'm only small. My channel is small, but I am mentioning it to everyone. So everyone who's still watching, please pump out Divers Ready. He's about 10k subs away from the mighty P, and I want to see him open that bottle of champagne. Hopefully it'll be in February 2022 and I'll be there.
That'd be amazing. Appreciate it, guys. Brian, thank you so much.
Menno's gone off for a beer. Yeah, we've been 108 like a good dive. Yeah, that's a good compliment, isn't it? For a
solid dive.
That's a really good compliment. Yeah. Anonymous. All right, I'm just gonna hit the end broadcast button, and we're done.
Bye, guys.